Okay, welcome back folks. It's been an amazing day, and this is another little breakout session, just trying to add some nuggets so that when you leave here you go away fully prepared, fully able to grow a successful business. And one of the key topics that we talk about in our industry is follow-up. So I invite you, if you've got a pen and paper, you might want to take some notes. Just a couple of key nuggets. The main purpose of the follow-up call is to, one, honour the commitment that you asked for when you're either handing out samples or giving information to qualified people that you've invited, right? One of the very first things you do is you set the follow-up appointment. And ideally, if it's not at an event and you're calling them back by three-way calling, you will be one, offering usually two good times to connect with you, give you enough time to look at the information. I'll give you a couple of days, and would you be free at 7:30 Wednesday or 7:30 Thursday, blah blah. So you've set that, and then here comes the time of the follow-up. So one of the key things is, why follow up? Anyone?
You won't have a business if you don't.
You won't have a business if you don't. That is legend.
Fortune is in the follow-up.
Fortune is in the follow-up. Anything else? Any other? Can you share any other insights about the follow-up?
You promised them you'd do it when you set it up.
Exactly. You're honouring a promise to that person. So if at all possible, you honour the promise. Now, life being what it is, what happens if for any reason you know you just can't make the call? What would you do?
Let them know. Rearrange.
Yeah, let them know. Speak up, thanks folks. Let them know. And vice versa. If you're dealing with a professional, I actually ask the same commitment of them, because I know life can get in the way, and I say, look, if for any reason you can't make this call, could you let me know? And we can reschedule, and vice versa. So the principle of the follow-up also employs a third party. Who's the third party?
Upline.
Maybe a three-way person.
Three-way person, upline, or your support team, one of your support team, or if you're in the follow-up and follow-through stage of reconnecting with people, it could be yet another upline. Yeah? And so what is the purpose of having a third party on the phone with you? Anyone?
You don't have to know everything.
Exactly. You're demonstrating that you don't have to know everything.
And
Yeah.
also too, the customer will get really good information, and they may listen to that person a bit better than they may listen to their friend.
Absolutely. And there's actually a nice triangle. There's another third part too. What else happens?
The new person is learning.
The new person is learning, and also you're learning, right, while you're listening to your upline, right? And so there's learning, there's teaching, and there's also a third part to that. Ideally, if there's a sign up, what else are you doing? You're earning.
Learning and earning.
Yeah, learning and earning. That's a powerful model. And there's a psychological aspect to that triad, that three, where if you were to, have you ever noticed, has anyone here tried doing one-on-one follow-ups? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, look, if you're a professional, there's a couple of things around that. And I'm open to any alteration or any other perspectives around this. However, if you call somebody up one-on-one, right, how did it feel? Did you feel like they were thinking, oh, what's he trying to sell me, or, you know, what's he won out of me, or da-da-da? Anyone feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple of things. Do you think, what would it take to shift your methodology, what you do? What would it take to get somebody else on the phone?
Their availability.
Their availability. Well, firstly, when you've set an appointment, right, we've gone through, okay, Jim, great, I'll call you at 7:30 Thursday. And Jim, I'm going to have one of my support team on the call. Very knowledgeable, and you know, they can share with you and sort of gauge your feedback, right? So you can put it in there that you can let them know somebody else is going to be on the call with you. By the way, Jim, look, this is, if you're new, I'm new at this, and this is how I get to learn. And somebody's really supporting me, and I'd like to demonstrate to you what type of support you could expect if this is a good fit for you. You could even go down that track. You might even just ring up somebody with your upline on the call without even letting them know. Okay? But that one-on-one can work in a couple of ways. It can work, one, to pre-qualify people. To set up a powerful appointment with somebody when you know, oh, this person's on fire. What would you do if you rang them up and they said, oh, you know, I'm in, or, you know, I really want to know more? Well, at that point you could either call your upline and just connect with them straight away and ask them, you know, just, hey, I've got somebody on the phone, can you do a call unscheduled? You could do that. For customers, I recommend if you've got new people coming in, you might want to sit with them if you're the support team, just on a couple of calls, and that's what I actually recommend, is that you sit with your new person for a couple of calls. One for their customers and ideally for their business partners. I have a general rule, I say to everyone, hey, do not follow up alone on a business related follow-up. So you've got that third party triad where if you have your support team on the call, you're here and the person is here, the third party has no attachment to the outcome. And that's the beauty, the synergy, the sort of like psychic disconnection from if you were just contacting them one-on-one. It just takes that all away. And remember, we have said, and we do say to people in the invitation, look, this is totally fine if it's not a good fit. We use the release statement. Yeah? And so, you know, the upline and or the person calling can say that as well. There's the follow-up. That's the key. Now, what's the quickest way to do a follow-up? Anyone? Yeah. A meeting. Thank you, Derek. Get them to a meeting. Did you notice today, the guest here? It was incredible. You can't duplicate that on a phone, even on a great three-way. The energy, the looking, the seeing, the hearing, and the connecting with even more than one person. Where could you do that? How could you do that on a phone in that way? So I'll go back. The emphasis there is if you're organising calls, ideally you want to tailor them and pre-plan so that it's organised to get them to an event and they get it all in one go. And if they really like what they see, they'll sign up. Now there's another type of follow-up. What is that? Is there? I've mentioned it before. It's what happens if somebody isn't ready? If they're not ready there and then on the follow-up, you follow up and follow through. Yeah. Follow up and follow through. So just know, be prepared. Some of the people that you're going to be calling, it could take 3, 4, 5, 6 years before they're ready. Like you heard Swana today. Yeah? And he kept that person in touch with them, even though they kept saying not now, not now, not now, over years, I believe. And look, is it worth it? Wow. That one person could be Swana's diamond leg. So with that and the follow-up, there's also a qualifying process, and the upline or support team doing the job, I would say right, would be all going well. At some point, the words, what do you feel is your next step? That's a really good. What do you feel would be your next step? That's a non-pushy but a gentle inquiry, allowing somebody to make a decision around what they'd like to do. And then they'll either say, well, actually, I'd like to get started, or I'd like to try the product, or actually I'm not ready, I'd love to know a little bit more, or whatever. Now, I'd need to get some guidance from our esteemed upline. Crown Diamonds or 3 stars around the 2-minute warning, because I've noticed that it's been used and then it hasn't been used, and at meetings, you know, I'm not sure where that will go, but it would be good to have a conversation around whether or not we implement that in the process of sitting down with people, either on the phone or at a meeting. And it's something personally I feel, if it's done right, it could just exponentially increase the amount of people that come into Life Force, because the key principle of that whole process is to help people see the potential for themselves. And our key offer is helping people get their product for free. The benefits to the members are unbelievable if it's applied properly. So maybe that's a discussion for another time. I'd like to just ask, is there any contributions, any sharing, or any questions around what we've just shared? Anything to add? I might have missed something.
Oh, just when you said for the new people that don't understand some of the languaging, what do you mean by follow up and follow through?
Oh, follow up and follow through is where you'll reconnect with somebody on a 3-way call, and they might not have looked at the information, or they might just say, hey, look, something's come up, can you get back to me in a month? And so that's where you need your organisational system in place, because you need a way to remember. In the card system, it's very simple. If it's a month away, you go into the month and you stick the card in the following month, and then at the beginning of every month you go through that month and see if there's any month or 2-month follow-ups as you go. Yeah. So that's the follow up and follow through. Sorry. Yes.
I have a question for people who possibly have been like me and have overcome it. Mine is, I recognise that I don't follow things through to their conclusion. So I may make the invite, I may get a customer, and that's very nice. And I've had some customers that have been with me for 2 years, and it's really wonderful. Sometimes I can't even call one of them back to see how they're going. I'm scared they might say, you know, I've got too much product or whatever. But mostly it's in my own organisation of my time, my resources, my filing, my taking notes and not weighing properly, that sort of thing. Just, can anybody tell me how?
You have to repeat that.
Yeah. So how do I follow up when it's an issue of remembering all my time commitments, or not feeling comfortable with calling somebody back, thinking that they may or may not want to continue, and things like that? The best thing I can recommend is firstly set up some form of accountability, but also some form of support team to help you with that process. So like it's happened to me and it's happened to others. I've set an appointment, a follow-up with my upline and forgotten about it, but my upline's called me and said, hey, did we have a call? That's a nice way to keep on track with that. And it's more about honouring what the commitment you made to that person. Whether they want to continue or not is just, I would just let that go. Be non-attached to however that is, and come from a place of service. So I would like to cover a key aspect, we've covered it briefly, around the follow-up, and that is when you're on the follow-up call, some protocols that we recommend. Firstly, when calling a person, you edify your upline. Firstly, you check, that it's a good time. You check that they looked at the information or took the samples. And 3, you just let them know, oh, and by the way, I've got one of my support team on the phone. And you edify your support person. If need be, you ask them, hey, how would you like me to introduce you? And then once you've introduced your upline, the rule of thumb is that from there on, it's really duct tape, it's really just listen. And you may wish to make a contribution, because you'll hear something on the call and you know it's relevant for that person or whatever. Just know that the upline or the support team should give you an opportunity to come into the call. Near the end, they'll just say, oh, and by the way, Barry, is there anything that you'd like to share, or anything that's come up while you've been listening on the call?
Edify the prospect during the introduction. Edify the prospect.
Oh yes, and edify the prospect, thank you. Especially like, let's say you're introducing, is it Richard Branson to Michael Dew? Michael, this is Richard Branson, owner of Virgin Atlantic, a multi-millionaire, highly successful, sought-after entrepreneur. Yeah. Richard, this is Michael Dew, economist, ex-corporate, highly successful philanthropist, top income earner in life force. Creates that listening. Thank you, Michael. Creates the listening. That's the purpose of that, the edification. Creates the listening. So, was there anything else? Okay, well, thank you. Short and sweet.